Good morning. My name is Mike. I'm an adventurer and a dad. And today I'm going to tell you about our trailer setup that we've got here behind us. We are out on the playa, the Black Rock Playa here in northern Nevada, about 2.5 hours from Reno. And we've got the trailer out here to do some camping, and we're going to do some exploring. It ends up being a pretty good setup for us. We got out here late last night. It was after dark, maybe 7:30. And we were able to just pull in and everything kind of set up really quickly, fairly quickly. The rooftop tent is big enough for all four of us. It holds pretty much enough water for a weekend. We have a 55 quart refrigerator in it, and I've got a 100-watt solar panel to power the Craft Autoworks battery that runs the fridge. It holds all of our kitchen and cooking utensils and gear. It holds all of our sleeping bags and stuff that we need to go to bed out here. It has an awning, we've got chairs, and we've got this nice mat that keeps the dust off our feet when we're standing around camp. So today I'm going to show you the trailer and how it works and all of the things we've added and modified to make it work for us on trips like this. Thanks for joining us. This trailer's been around for a while. If you want to know more about where it came from and how it got here, check the link in the description. I have a whole playlist on it. Today, our little off-road trailer can go anywhere the Tacoma can go and carry everything we need to get there and back.
Sweet.
So this is the front room, the front porch, the dining room, the living room, the entertaining room, where all the socializing and everything really happens outside on the trailer here. To start at the bottom, we've got one of those plastic woven sand mats. It's huge. When you're on the playa like this, it keeps a lot of the dust off your feet, and if you're in the forest, it keeps dirt and mud and pine needles and stuff off your feet. It's really nice to have. This folds up, you sweep it off, you fold it up, and I actually bungee it to the top of the trailer when we're traveling. We have 4 chairs. 2 of them live in the truck while we're driving, and 2 of them live in the trailer all the time. Above, providing shade and shelter from the sun and rain, is an ARB 8-foot awning. It's about 6 feet wide and then 8 feet long. So it actually provides quite a bit of shade. And it all folds up and rolls into the cover, the zipped cover on top of the trailer, and stores there quite nicely and doesn't really get in the way at all.
Hi. Hello. Alright, so, new episode of Rocket Time. We're about to depart to climb up that thing. Yeah, that thing over there. That thing. We're not gonna climb up this side, other side, so we'll see you on the other side.
So one thing they don't tell you when you buy the rooftop tent is that when you get up in it in the middle of the night, all your weight is sitting on the suspension of the vehicle that you have it mounted on. If it happens to be a truck, then all of that weight is way up high, and every little movement you have is going to have much more effect on the movement of the vehicle than if you were just sitting in the driver's seat 4 feet lower. Now, if you've got a truck that's an off-road truck with a soft suspension and you've aired down the tires, then every time you roll over, or your partner or your kid rolls over in the night, it's going to send you swaying around, and it's not gonna make you sick, but it's gonna be annoying. So to counteract that, I put these stabilizers in here. Now these are simple stabilizers you can get for any RV or trailer, and they are welded to a piece of 1.5 inch square tubing, and that tubing is then sleeved into the 2-inch tubing of the trailer, and I've got that in here with a pin. The way we can get level, I'm gonna go to the front of the trailer, I'm gonna crank it all the way down, and then we're gonna work the jacks here in the back to get our level. Stand by. Now I'm gonna jack the front of the trailer up till that gets level, and hopefully the back will be level then too. Now we're perfectly level that way. I just gotta crank it up a little bit. Oh, we're perfectly level this way too. So having a fridge when you're camping is really a game changer, like they say it is, but one of the things about the game that it does change is the fact that you need power, lots of power. We have, in the trailer, we have a 50 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery from Craft Autoworks that I'll show you later. And that'll power the fridge for a day or so in cool weather. In hot weather, man, that fridge pulls a lot of juice. And we'll show you the fridge later too. But for now, I want to show you the solar panel, which I set up last night, knowing the sun was coming from this way. I set it up so that it would start to get sun before we even got out of bed. This is Goal Zero Nomad 100. It's a 100 watt solar panel from Goal Zero that I think is a really nice panel, and it works really well. There's a lot of good features that I like about this particular panel that make it convenient for travel like we do, and it fits well in the trailer. First of all, it's 4 small panels and they all fold up. I'll show you how they fold up. It's got like a clear plastic covering over each panel. It's got these little loops along the top and the bottom on all sides. So if you want to like hang it from the side of your truck or the side of your tent or something, you can do that. On the back of the panel, it's got these little kickstands that come out and stand it up at an angle so that it catches the sun. Now, it's not always the perfect angle. Like right now it could stand to be a little steeper, but it is what it is. You can prop it up if you want a little different angle. To fold it up, you start bringing it in like this and folding down the legs. You bring it in all the way over, Velcro those down, bring it over, and then this flap is magnetic. Picked up a nail. So there's 2 magnets here, and those magnets engage back there and hold it shut, more or less. The attachment here, the cable is a 8mm DC cable, and it also has 1 USB here inside. I don't use that much at all, so you can shove that in there. This is a 30-foot 8mm DC extension that I have running back to the trailer. And I'll show you all that stuff, how it connects to the trailer later. But for now, this Goal Zero Nomad 100 panel is very nice. It's very compact. It's really easy to fit this anywhere. It's not very thick, and it seems to work really well. It does everything we need to power the fridge that we have in the trailer and to power the batteries and lights, to recharge batteries and lights as needed on the trail. Who can say what the word overlanding means? Some say it's just car camping, and maybe so. To us, overlanding means you move camp every night, and as such, we pulled up the trailer from our camp on the playa and moved on for the day. This trailer has leaf springs from a Tacoma and shocks, so it trails nicely and soaks up the terrain quite well. It's pretty easy for us to pull off into a campsite and get set up without too much effort and have a really nice and comfortable camp.
No, here's the cameraman. No. This is a rare scene of the cameraman.
If we have a good part of the day to spend at camp, I'll usually start by unhitching the truck and repositioning it for better access from under the awning. In this case, it also provides additional shelter from the afternoon sun. Then we'll deploy the awning if we're in a place that needs shade. Here, Lightning Dragon is also getting the solar panel set up. Rocket took care of getting the awning staked down this time. It's really important to do that in case of wind. And there's always wind. I keep the sand mat and doormat strapped to the outside of the trailer, and those go out next. Then it's just a matter of getting the tent set up and camp is pretty much done. So the last step to setting up this tent is to get these windows opened up and the shades out. Now, the shades would make it really nice. You get lots of good ventilation through the side windows, and you also get great views. So if you're sitting here, you can look out the view in the morning, and there's a window here. You can see out the view right by your head in the morning too. So, but it's kind of difficult to get these things out, especially if you're not particularly tall. The tent comes with these hooks. There's a hook on one end, nothing on the other end, and they bend. So there's two ways to do this, and they're both not particularly easy. There's a little gap in the skirt here, and you can just stick it straight in, bend it up, and hook it. I'm 6'1", and I'm barely tall enough to manage that. The way that I figured out you can do this is much easier. You hook it at the top, get it lined up with the hole, and then slide it right in. And removing them is the same. It's much easier to just grab it, pull it down, and slide it out. Much easier to do it that way. Now we got good ventilation all night. We got great views.
So, we drove up there yesterday. That was really, really high. Whoa.
So the water tank we're using on the trailer is this. It's a 5-gallon water tank from FrontRunner, and it's got a spigot on the side. It sells with a plastic spigot here, but I wanted to extend it, so I went to Home Depot and I got a brass insert, and I extended it out. There's a shut-off valve here and a rubber tube. When we're in transit, we take this tube off, and I have this a little piece of tubing that just acts as a cap, and so that keeps that from getting caked with dirt and mud while we're traveling. This is just a simple jerry can rack that I mounted to the side of the trailer. I did have to notch it out a little bit to fit the valve there. Otherwise, when we're sitting here at camp, I have this tub. It's a plastic bucket, basically a soft plastic bucket that catches the water. Particularly out here on the playa, you got to catch your water and dispose of that properly. I also have another soft bucket here that we use for fresh water, or carrying water from a stream if there's one nearby. This is good. 5 gallons is good for a weekend. If we're conservative with the 4 of us, it tends to be not quite enough. So on this trip, I've got another 5 gallons of water in other containers in the car and in the trailer. But you can just take this off, open the cap, fill it up, and I don't ever lock it. It doesn't seem to be a problem. You could put a small lock here if you wanted to, or a cable. Another thing, we have a spare tire here next to the water can at the front of the trailer. I have never used that, and I don't anticipate ever using it, but it is on a Toyota wheel. So if you have a Toyota 6-lug truck like a Tacoma or a 4Runner, it will work as a spare for that.
The coconut nut is a giant nut. If you eat too much, you will get very fat. Now, the coconut nut is a big, big nut. This delicious nut is not a nut. It's the cocoa fruit. It's the cocoa fruit of the cocoa tree, of the cocoa tree, from the cocoa palm family.
This trailer originally came with a shelf that was about this wide and ran the full length of the trailer and hung on 2 brackets. That was nice when the trailer was way down here on teeny tiny wheels. When the trailer's up this high and you have to stand back this far, you could never get anything in and out of it. So that one's at home rusting. This is a little plywood table that I made with the bracket back here is for RVs. They sell these for RVs, so you can like clip a shelf or table or a barbecue grill on the outside. So the whole thing lifts off and then goes right back on. Now, this is just a bare, pretty much a bare piece of plywood, and I have my friend Don is making one of these for me out of nice hardwood with laminated strips of dark and light. That is going to be super awesome and won't look like the hot mess that this one is. Inside the trailer, the main event here is the Dometic CFX3 55 IM fridge. What that means is that this is 55 quarts or liters, probably quarts. I think it's quarts. About the same anyway, right? It opens up and it's got a big bay here for stuff, a big bay here for stuff, and then the compressor's on this side, so this side is just fairly shallow. But underneath here, there's a little hatch that opens up, and you can put these fancy little ice trays in there and make basically one small cup of ice per tray. And it'll probably make those, I don't know, twice a day. Not sure, I haven't really experimented with that. This thing is nice. There's a wire that I have running through here and out to the front where the battery is, and that powers the whole thing. This thing is wrapped in the Dometic's case, a cover for it. So this is a soft cover for it, which all the other things that are banging around in here can hit this case and they won't scratch or mar or dent the plastic case of the cooler. The fridge has controls here on the side. You can hit this button and you can see the temperature. And then if you toggle through this, you get temperature, battery protection, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and then...
Wi-Fi?
What does that say? I can't see what that says. And then you can also turn the ice maker on and off through that. It has a USB port here if you want to charge a phone this way. I have not used that. I do have it strapped down to some footman loops in the floor there.
Hey Rocket. Yeah. If you could have any magic item from any show or TV, what would it be?
I would easily say Stormbreaker.
So the rooftop tent that we have on the trailer right now is from Tuff Overland. I'm not sure what the model particularly is called. I bought this used, but it is a bit nicer than other rooftop tents of this similar design. And I may have said in the past, none of them are any different. It doesn't matter which one you get. Well, that's kind of true, but not strictly true. Tents like this are pretty much the same design, yes. Pretty much the same construction materials, yes. Pretty much have all the same features. Like we have a Thule Tepui tent that's the same design. Basically, it has the overhang on the end. It's the same. It has the room at the bottom. It's pretty much the same. All of the ways that the awnings and everything goes together is pretty much the same. Some things that aren't the same though on the Tepui versus this one. On this one, when you close it up, there's plenty of room for bedding. On the Thule Tepui one, there's almost no room for bedding. And then on this one, when you pull that cover over the top, there's a lot of slack in it. It's loose, which means that it's a lot more forgiving if you do overstuff it a little bit. On the Tepui one, there's no room on the cover. So when you try to zip that thing up, it's got to be perfect or else you end up ruining the zipper. This particular tent is 79 inches wide. So that's the sleeping area, is 79 inches wide. I wouldn't say that it's luxurious in there for all four of us, but we all do fit in there fairly comfortably. Like I said, you can, when we're packing up, I'll just take the sleeping bags and I'll flip them, I'll fold them over halfway, and we'll take all the pillows out, but we'll leave the sleeping bags and the bedding in there, and then fold it all up and put it away. The room is really nice to have. This particular trip, it's a lot of white dust out here. We've been getting a lot of dust actually inside that little room, but it stays down there. It doesn't get up in the tent. I have a mat that we use, like a doormat, a big nice doormat for it at home. That keeps a lot of the dust there on the mat and not in the tent. The tent gives you a place to put your clothes, place to change your clothes. If you're at a place like this that has no cover, you're not in the trees, then nobody will see you when you're taking your clothes off. It's of course a little bit warmer in there. And now we have the dog, which you may have seen running around, and so she sleeps down there and doesn't wander around freely all night. Now setting that thing up is kind of a pain. I do when I take it down, I collapse it all down onto the footprint, and then I fold it over and I fold it over, and then I roll it up going back towards the trailer. So that when I go to set it up, I just set it on the ground by the corner of the trailer, I roll it out, fold it, and then I can bring the tent over with the ladders, because the ladders will sit in there in the middle of the floor of the room. And then you hang it up and you zip it all the way around. Now zipping it around is really fiddly. It's not hard, but there's enough slack in the zipper that you've got to like hold it this way, and then you've got to hold it up this way. And so with only two hands, it ends up being kind of difficult. Not hard per se, but just kind of fiddly. So then when we take it down, I just unzip it, drop it, fold it, roll it. So all in all, the tent is nice, and the room is definitely nice to have as well. And to be honest, it doesn't really take that long to set it up. Setting up the room and the tent's maybe 10 or 15 minute job.
We are now all the way up there from all the way down there.
Yeah, we are. Oh, we're up here from all the way down there. I don't want to explain how we're gonna get down.
So here in the front of the trailer, we have various things we need for trailer life. First thing is this OES Mini from Craft Autoworks. This has a 50 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery inside. It's built into a FrontRunner Cub case, and it also has a Noco AC to DC charger. It has a Kisei DC to DC charger with MPPT charger for solar. It has fuses, it has circuit breakers, it has everything you need. On the front, it has 4 12-volt DC cigarette outlet chargers. On this bottom one here, I have that replaced with a charger, the outlet that comes for the Dometic fridges. So you put the thing in and you screw it down. If you have a Dometic fridge, the cigarette lighter charger, it comes with it, is built for that. You just screw the cigarette lighter part off, and then you can use that. The rest of the 3 are regular cigarette lighter charger outputs that you have. It has 2 USB charger outputs. Each one has 2 USBs on it. This one has 2 USBs, this one has 1 USB-C and 1 USB. It has a main power shutoff over there. On this side, this is power in for solar, and this one at the bottom is power in for DC to DC charging if you have a way to charge from the alternator on your truck. And then right here is the Noco power in for charging from a wall outlet. Sometimes while we're driving, while we're camped, this is a drone battery I have plugged in with the 12-volt outlet. This is a phone, obviously, that's plugged in with the USB outlet. And then this is a little 12-volt lantern, or not 12-volt, but USB charging lantern that I charge from this. This also has a voltmeter, and it's reading 13.3 volts right now. The sun's out, the solar panel's out in the sun, so it's charging. Over here is a bag with all of the various cords that are needed for the battery pack. So here on the tongue of the trailer, we have all of the connection for the power. This is for solar, so solar goes in here. I have an adapter that goes from DC-8 to ASE, 2-prong, and then a 30-foot cable that runs to the solar panel. This is Noco in, so you plug this directly in with an extension cord directly into your house, and that will power it up. On this side, we have 30 amp in via ASE plug too. So I have an outlet in the truck, I'll show you later, and so that I can power the battery while we're driving. This is a standard trailer wiring outlet for a truck. I just installed it here, so you can use the 6-pin here, or you can take that out and use a 4-pin, which I have underneath it. Either one will work. This is the trailer battery box for the trailer brakes. So this trailer has brakes, and this is the battery that powers it. There's a disconnect here, and if this breaks off the truck, then that battery will activate the brakes and stop the trailer.
All right, hello again. So as you just saw, I asked my dad if I could do a war scream, so here it is.
Hitching up the trailer is a simple matter, but there are some important steps, namely all of them. First, I lower the trailer down onto the receiver block. Then, right away, I pull the pin and mount it sideways for travel. Then I connect the ASC plug for the 30 amp charging of the trailer battery, and then the 6-pin connector for the trailer lights and brakes. Then I connect the safety chain and the breakaway lead for the trailer brakes. And with that, we're ready to head out. Well, we were really hoping to get another night on the playa. Tonight is the full moon, and it's bright as day out here almost. We were going to play baseball. We were going to take a long walk and have a good time on the playa for the full moon, but we had clear skies for 2 days out here, and now the wind is really picking up, and the dust is coming in, and it might rain. Well, we can see it raining out that way. It's a little bit clear behind us there still, but it's starting to get socked in that way. Can't see across the playa. So we're going to cash it in. We're gonna head home and come back out some other time for the full moon. Thanks for joining us on the adventure today. Happy trails.